Alright, current situation. Hot coffee stirred with a comically big spoon. Motorcycles brought to the hill country via Cliff's Toy Hauler. Questionable skies, but no rain in the forecast. And we're going on an adventure. This is where I live. West Texas, Midland, Odessa. I've always enjoyed living here, but it's hard country. In fact, they made a movie about it in 1981 that was literally called Hard Country. It starred Jan Michael Vincent, you know, the guy from Airwolf, if you're old enough to remember that, and Kim Basinger, the chick from 9.5 Weeks, if you're old enough to remember that. It was a terrible movie, by the way, but it captured the landscape and the grittiness pretty well. Besides the fact that a few 100,000 more people live here now than in 1981, not much has changed appearance-wise. And often, I need an escape. I take a handful of motorcycle trips every year. Sometimes I wander as far away as California, usually to the awesome motorcycle roads of Southern California in particular. Sometimes it's into the New Mexico high country, which I also love. It provides a pretty bitchin' escape from the sand and heat and wind of the Permian Basin. I've been all over, but I take no more comfort in escaping the ravages of West Texas than when I ride the glorious Texas hill country. We make this trip to the hill country the same weekend every April to meet some friends of ours in a riding group called the Geezers and Scalawags. I'm not sure which one I am at this point anymore. I definitely used to be a Scalawag, but I think I may slowly be turning into one of the Geezers. Anyway, we all turn up to ride some of the most fantastic and famous motorcycle roads in Texas. In particular, a set of roads called the Three Twisted Sisters. It's farm roads 335, 336, and 337. You'll be seeing those later. But this year, I sort of made a promise to myself to slow down a little bit. It wasn't just going to be about the motorcycle roads. It was going to be about enjoying nature a little bit more. I've been stuck out in that desert for the past 6 months, and I needed to listen to some water flow by. I needed to hear the breeze in the trees, if you will. And this is one of the places I found. There's this section in Walden when Thoreau is climbing down from the Irish farmer's roof after it has rained, and he's heading for the pond. And he suddenly becomes completely overwhelmed by this Zen-like immersion into the nature that is surrounding him. Nature was speaking to him almost, saying, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Rise free from care before the dawn and seek adventures." I often think about that part of the book when I'm in places like this. This road is a section of one of the Three Sisters, 337. And that guy on that motorcycle up ahead of me, that is not Cliff. That's one of the other Geezers and Scalawags. That is Johnny. And Johnny is one of my all-time motorcycle heroes. That bike Johnny is riding is almost 40 years old. That's a 1984 BMW R100. And Johnny is 83 years old, out there with us tearing it up. If I accomplish nothing else with my silly little life, I want to still be riding motorcycles in my 80s. And based on all of my years hanging out with Johnny, the secret to this type of moto longevity is apparently smoking cigars and drinking whiskey, and I don't do either of those. Guess I better get started.
was wondering when you were going to go.
Well, I couldn't. It was the time.
Yeah. I was waiting on you. I thought, okay, man, I'm going to wait for Johnny to press the monkey button before I press mine.
Yeah.
When you went, I went.
Well, as soon as I saw him up there, I thought, yeah, Johnny ain't going to abide by this shit.
No.
Well, they were so close and strung out, and then by the time I could get on, I'd be another curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pass a bunch.
Maybe I can share with
Oh, yeah. What a madhouse. I figured it would be like this on Saturday, not Friday. When we were all hanging out the evening after this ride, we were talking about the worst things we had seen over the years on the Three Sisters, accident-wise or calamity-wise. And I didn't think to tell this story at the time, but I remember the worst thing I ever saw, and it didn't really involve any blood or guts or anything like that. It was just a sad thing. This was in 2008 or 2009. I came down to the Three Sisters to ride with some friends of mine, and they invited this really inexperienced guy. He was on a brand new 600, and I don't think he had ever seen a curvy road in his life. Well, he crashed. He crashed on 336, as a matter of fact. I remember exactly where he crashed. He didn't really get hurt at all, and the bike just got rashed up. But he got that bike home, fixed it, and then he sold it. And he never rode again. That to me is one of the saddest things I've ever seen happen out here. In Texas haben wir Deutsche und ich komme aus einer deutschen Familie. That's why I never make this trip without rolling through the Texas German country, around Doss and Fredericksburg and all of that. It helps me reconnect with my German roots and maybe speak a little bit of my second language with the locals.
Go look at the last names on that sign over there. Tell me what you notice.
Okay.
Well, about all of them are German, dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we know that. We're in the German country. Okay, yeah.
Seriously, dude, look at this.
Yeah.
It's worse than you thought.
It actually is.
It's better than you thought after you look at it.
That is one of the things that I've always found amazing down here is that German tradition and culture has survived and the language has survived. You'll be down here and talk to somebody and they're a fourth or fifth generation American. They got a German accent. There you go. Take a drink of your beer and set it right back down in the exact same place with the Fredericksburg logo pointed directly toward me. Slightly out of focus. That is what I'm talking about right there. Now I can rack focus it. Boom.
Hey, I can do about 10 more takes if you, if you need me to.
This area right here, Hunt and Ingram, I've often thought to myself, if I ever figure out a way to end up in the hill country or want to retire down here or some nonsense like that, this is the area right here. This river district area along the Guadalupe. Man, this is like a little slice of heaven down here.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
That was a kick-ass day of riding. Oh yeah. All 4 days of this trip kicked ass. There's this verse in the Bible. It's in 2 Timothy. I forget the chapter and verse. It says, "For the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Everything about riding my motorcycle in the Texas hill country contributes to me having those 3 things. And it is in those moments on that bike that I experience and believe in God the most. We'll see you next time.